What's up, everyone? Welcome to Dipped in Tone. We are back, second week in a row.
Yeah, consistency.
We need one of those boards,
Weird.
you know, that says days since last accident, and then we'll just cross out accident and says, you know, since missed podcast. I'll put it behind me on the wall here.
There's got to be a way. Yeah, oh yeah, like have like one of those ads on Instagram for like your Instagram follower count ticker thing. Because I remember in the very beginning, I wanted to have a days without Gibson incident. But
It has been a minute, though, actually. I mean,
they're doing all right. I mean, the Theodore...
Yeah. No, it's not an incident, though. No. It's not a, play authentic. That was a debacle.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been doing good. And you know what? McKinley and I have been going to Guitar Center more often than we should because it's just really close to the shop.
Right there. Mm-hmm.
And looking at all the Murphy Labs and everything. They look so good. And this is gonna we'll circle back around to this. But anyway, how's your week been going?
My week's been going great. We launched pre-sales for my new video course last week. So that's always a huge amount of work doing these video courses. It's like weeks and weeks of shooting and editing and re-editing and reshooting and like putting the whole thing together. And then marketing it and the pre-sale is just a ton of work, and so it's a huge relief whenever we get one out, and then it's an even bigger relief when people purchase the pre-sales and people are excited about it. So I'll plug my course if we don't mind on the podcast here. It is the Fretboard Fundamentals Chords and Rhythm course, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a course on chords and rhythm guitar. So if you're interested, we'll have a link down below. So I should probably get something like that because I'm notorious for just noodle, there's a lot to be gained here in terms of if you're not super like up to speed on your triad shapes, if you're not super confident with being able to play chords any position anywhere on the neck or play chord progressions in any position anywhere on the neck, this is good for that. It's good for helping you build new chords, build more expensive chords, or take chords that you might be just coming up with on your own and then actually deciphering them and figuring out, oh, this is what that is, Right. And then some basic rhythm guitar stuff, which you don't need. You're a great rhythm player.
But I mean, it's funny because I think like once I learned, basic 7/9, like because of my hand and, I can't play bar chords and all that. And once I started learning some of those things, it really opened up my rhythm playing a lot. But the thing that I struggle with is knowing like any chord progressions outside the norm. Like I can hear it, and if I sat down and said like, okay, I want to make up something, like I could come up with something interesting, but like knowing like, oh, if I do this and I go to this, then I can resolve with this. And it, like those things are really hard for me.
But I know a guy that just made a course. He can hook you up. How's your week going?
Good. Zap Rose Dower in the chat just said, need to start a GoFundMe to get Zach a new hand.
Hey, man, we can do that. We can get you the Anakin Skywalker special, though.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine how good I'd be if I had a robot hand? No, so for those that don't know, I broke my wrist when I was a little kid. And I broke both bones, and basically, to get it fixed, I'm going to demonstrate with this hand because I physically can't. I can do it this way. Here we go. They would have to break... But we couldn't break it. They would have to saw out part of the bone because there was a gap and it filled in. So my whole arm is kind of corkscrewed. And you've told me that before, but every time you demonstrate it, if my hand's like that, that's as much rotation as I have.
That's crazy.
Vertical, but like down because I have double jointed elbows. When I was a little kid, I could put my arms basically up to like here that could touch. So I had a huge range of motion with my arms, and thank God I still kind of do. But anyway,
bones gross me out.
Bones,
bones, like blood. I can handle blood and guts and all that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't do anything for me. But like when I broke my collarbone, it didn't just hurt. It was the fact that I could feel the bones like rubbing against each other inside my shoulder that like really didn't do it for me. 0 out of 10. I don't recommend doing that. Hey,
no
we've got,
sweet tricks on your bike, everybody.
Yeah. Need to stop shred the gnar so hard on my.
Addison, will you add a little bike to the? Does handlebars come up? No.
Yeah, I ate shit so hard. It's time to get back on the bike though. I need to get over it, and I need to lose this 20 pounds that I put on since crashing the bike.
That's just your winter weight. That's your power.
Yeah, it's my reserves. It's my body's battery.
That's right.
Deep storage. Hey, we got a big announcement. A real big one. We've never done anything like this before. We've never announced anything like this before.
Yeah, it's finally time. Raid Shadow Legends. No.
That was good. No,
yeah.
We are going live. Dipped in Tone live. And I don't mean a live stream. I mean an actual live show in person with real people at a real venue that you can come and see and watch us. We're going to have some guests. Mm-hmm. We're going to dip a very well-known guitar player's rig live with some very other well-known guitar players there in person. And this is all happening at Sweetwater Gear Fest, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We will have details as far as dates and everything coming very soon, probably next week. But yeah, Gear Fest, end of June. I think the dates are June 23rd through the 25th. And it's looking like we will be on that Friday there. We'll have a whole party thing. And I believe we're also going to live stream it on my YouTube channel. That's the plan. There's some logistics that need to get worked out first, but that's the plan.
Well, I thought it was going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, okay. But like I said, details to come, dates, times, all that stuff.
In genuine dipped in tone fashion, we'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out later. We'll procrastinate later. Yeah. I'm super excited, and I hope, my whole hope with this, like apart from the guests, the rig dipping, and the people there, I just want to get in a screaming argument with you in front of a crowd. That's all dude. I want to do.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be great.
I don't want to hit anybody. I don't want to be hit. No, but I do want to have a serious disagreement.
No, and knowing the guests that I believe we're going to have there, they're not confirmed yet, but if the people that we know are going to be there, the ideal situation would be to get everyone arguing with each other on stage, because that would be something...
Divide the room.
Dude, it would never happen anywhere else other than a Dipped in Tone live show. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, apart from that... not much has been going on. We launched the Airline drive. There's one.
Yep, there it is.
There.
Look at it. Where's mine? Mine's
buried
pedal shelf
under a pile of things you like more. And the first batch sold out. We sold out. It was launched on Thursday at 10 a.m. and it sold out Saturday morning. The last one sold. I got a notification, so that was cool.
Nice.
There are a few remaining that are like my safety net for the inevitable. Hey, this hasn't been delivered yet, and I live in Atlanta, and so the lost packages and stuff like that. So we may throw some of the first batch up, but this is going to keep going. The next color will come in a few months' time. So if you didn't get this one, there's going to be another one. And also, I think I might have mentioned this to you. So everyone should remember this is my pickup tester guitar.
Yep.
And I have some Mythos prototype pickups in it. So this is really exciting. We're dialing them in. I'm not going to say who's winding them for me because I'm not doing it because I don't. I wish I had time, but I don't. And it's sounding pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it sounded. So.
If you need a beta tester, send them my way.
Yeah, my hope with this is once we fine tune it. We started with like the most basic PAF thing. And this in by no way, shape, or form is going to be a clone. Like Throwback makes a clone. Wiz, like they make true clones. This is not that. This is just my take on the classic humbucker. And I think we're going to achieve something really cool. Like this, it's kind of hard because I use this as like my test bed. And then I compare it to my Les Paul, which I think it could have anything in it and sound good. So after we get them in this and try it, I'll pull them out and put them in my Les Paul, see how it sounds, and then we'll start making some. But they'll come in batches, and I'll send a few out, and hopefully, have some cool pickups.
I think it's cool that you're not doing a clone because the clone thing has been so done, and it's been done so well by companies like Throwback and Wiz and Seymour Duncan and Lawler. I mean, everyone does like the clone thing. So yeah, it's nice to have someone's take, someone who's played a lot of Les Pauls, someone who likes a specific thing. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna appeal to anybody who likes classic PAF tones, but for the cork sniffers that want, it's got to have brass screws on the base plate, and if it doesn't have this sort of wire, it's I understand, but that's not what I will hope to do, at least not for the price point I want to hit.
Right.
And we're actually going to work on another set that is way different, that I think will appeal to way less people. But if you're wanting something different, would be cool. I'll send you information about that.
All right.
Privately.
Okay.
Anyway,
a little inside baseball.
Yes.
Hey, we haven't gotten one of those comments in a while.
Complaining about...
Yeah, complaining about how inside baseball our show is. Maybe we've gotten too generic.
No, I don't think so. I think we still showcase a little bit behind the curtain. Maybe not as much as we used to, but that's the whole point. And that's the thing that, one of the reasons I struggle with a lot of other gear podcasts and YouTube channels is why should I trust you? Why should I listen to your opinion if you are just some dude who likes guitars? A lot of people like stuff, and you happen to have a camera. That doesn't make you a better source. I trust RJ, I trust Pete Thorne, I trust you because you guys have gigged and done it and are living in it more than in an ancillary fashion. So. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's if you're coming to Dipped in Tone, that's what you should expect to get.
I think. Well, first of all, thank you for including me in the same sentence as RJ and Pete and all those guys. I'm being serious. That is high praise. I think it comes from the perspective of if and when you have done this for your job, in some capacity, it shifts your perspective from doing it as a hobby. And not that there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't mean to say that because I do it as a job it's like I'm better, my opinions are better. It's not that. It's that my perspective is different than someone that does it as a weekend warrior thing, or someone that does it at home or whatever. And the same thing goes for RJ and Pete and Greg Koch and Tim Pierce and all the people on Guitar YouTube that have done or do guitar for a living outside of YouTube. It just changes things. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, Philip from the 40 Watt podcast says he feels attacked. I'm sorry. I'm not attacking
Phillip.
you. I
had a great conversation with Philip on 40 Watt podcast. And it's not to say that I know more than you because I have played gigs. That's not at all. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that are, weekend warriors and play at home that know more than me about a ton of stuff on guitar. It's not that. It's just, it's a different perspective is all.
Sure. Yeah. And we're pretentious. We're,
yep.
What are the other words?
Oh God. Yeah. We've had all kinds of complaints. I've seen us talked about on the gear page. People can't stand us on the gear page.
Oh, really?
We're both. Yeah.
Because we sniff our own farts. Is that the sort of thing?
Probably. Yeah. And you hate everything. I hate everything. Nothing's good enough for either one of us.
I'm brave enough to be honest, and do it publicly. Yeah. So how about that, gear page?
I love it, man. Look,
oh man,
there's enough guitar. There's enough space for everyone out here.
Yeah,
and we are not for everyone, and that's okay. We do the show that we want to make. So there you go. You know what we should do? We should do a segment each week. We should start this next week where we read a couple of comments from the previous episode.
Oh,
good and bad, and we'll just respond. Yeah. Maybe we need a stinger. We'll have Nick and Addison at JHS put together a stinger for us for these different segments. We did get a comment last week about someone appreciated our up in production value. So.
Oh, he's in the chat. It's Cam in the chat.
Oh, Cam.
He thanked us. So
yeah, thanks, Cam. Appreciate that.
We're thanking Addison as well. He's really he and his wife have been sorting our stuff out.
They're so great.
Yes,
they're so great. Addison's such a good hang.
Yes.
When I was at JHS last or a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, it was over Marco Polo. We had a legitimate gear conversation, just guitar player to guitar player, talking about amps, and it was kind of refreshing to just, hey, what amp should I get? And
it was good.
So
Yeah. Yes. That's good. This is all going to circle back, ladies and gentlemen. But
it's a circle.
you want to get into dipping
Oh yeah.
a rig?
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. After last week's selection, I'm excited to see what you've picked.
I'm just excited to see what the gear page has to say about us. Like, say our fucking name right, maybe.
Oh, this is cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. See, I didn't know what you would think on this one.
Okay.
So this is from Cameron. And he says he's an engineering student. He gigs and jams multiple times a week. Awesome. Plays alt rock, alt indie stuff, and uses a lot of spacey modulation sounds.
Yeah.
He's got a 2008 Fender American Vintage Jazzmaster with Lawler Jazzmaster neck and a P90 Jazzmaster in the bridge.
Yep.
It's got a mastery, and the blue guitar is a custom from High Spirit Guitars in San Diego.
San Diego.
Has a mahogany neck, Mojo Tone wide range humbuckers, and it kind of looks like it's got. I'll throw this in the chat. It kind of looks like it's got some sort of Burns like bridge thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Very very odd, but cool guitar. And then his amp, he's got one of the new Electro Harmonics MiG 50 reissues. He also has Mojo Tone JTM 45, Mojo Tone 2x12 cab, and then his pedalboard. There's a lot to break down on this pedalboard here. Greer Super Hornet, Dynacomp, Strobo Stomp, The Depths, Haunted Labs Witch Hammer, Westwood, Marshall Governor, an Archer, CH1 Boss, a Lillian, MT Electronics DMT, that must be a Joe Rogan pedal, the DD7, the Keeley Hydra, and then
have you ever tried DMT though?
No, I have not. The Keeley Hydra and the Line 6 DL4 Mark II. So
not to be confused with the DL2 Mark IV.
DL2 Mark IV, which Rhett's gonna post about really soon.
And I'm gonna drop that one 2 hours early. Okay, all right. Let's start with these guitars. I like this. I like this a lot.
What? Okay.
The Jazzmaster's cool. Okay, Jazzmaster's cool, and I've kind of been jonesing for a Jazzmaster recently because I've never owned a proper Jazzmaster.
I want to sell mine. You want to buy it?
I actually might because I want proper Jazzmaster pickups.
Okay.
Because I've never actually owned Jazzmaster pickups. This other guitar, what was the name of it again?
It's a High Spirit.
High Spirit? This thing's rad. This thing is rad.
See, I thought you would hate it.
No, this thing's rad. Okay, so here's why. That body shape works, okay? And here's why it works. Yes, the top horn is large and it's pretty, bold, but because the guitar looks like it's slightly offset from that angle, is it?
Yeah, here, okay. I got their website.
It's kind of a
here.
weird angle to kind of,
see if I can copy and post
drop
this.
the website. I love the pick guard, the split pick guard. Super cool. I love the wide range humbuckers. Not enough people go for the wide range humbucker.
Wide range humbuckers. Christ on a bike.
Yeah, the wide ranges are great. That bridge is super interesting. I'd like to know more about that. The tailpiece specifically. Yeah, dude, these are cool. That's a cool color.
I do like it. I specifically chose this because I thought you would hate it.
Okay, I think I know why you think I would hate it, because it's similar to a Frank Brothers, but this is where the Frank Brothers missed, this hit the mark.
And I think it kind of reminds me of my Swope. I don't know if you like this Swope or not, actually.
I haven't seen a good, you've only shown it to me in passing. I haven't seen a good shot of it.
So he machines the bridges and the tailpieces himself, and it very much looks like an old Burns or some sort of. The tailpiece looks like one of those vibrato things that they made way back when.
Dude, that's rad. I've never heard of High Spirit before, but that's cool. I like it. Is those green tuning machines something, or is that just?
I think it's just the photo. They look like normal Clusin style.
Okay, it's like some weird green happening in the photo there.
And for the record, I think this guitar is really cool as well. I just thought you would not like it.
No, this is good. This is good. Cam says, and it's Gibson scale length. That's cool.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're in agreement here on the guitars. That's really well done.
Great.
Look at that. All right, now to the pedal board.
Weird.
Hornet props. I mean, the original and OG Govna pedal, great.
The
Govna. Juliana, great. The DL4, the DL2 Mark IV. I think that's what we should deem it as the
right.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything here missing that I would change. What about you?
Not really. I mean, like, no. I mean, it seems like the only things that are. No, I don't know.
I do see slight redundancy with the DD7 and the DL2 Mark IV. I think you could probably drop the DD7 and clear up some space, or drop something else in there. I mean,
does the DL4 Mark II? Can you use more than one echo at a time?
You mean different like
delay?
algorithms?
Can you
No.
put two on at a time? Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, not at a time, no. But you can do the delay and reverb together.
Okay.
It's got the hidden reverbs.
I guess it depends because the DD7. He says he uses it 100% for the wet reverse delay. So that's a very specific sound. So if you have to have that sound,
yeah, but the DL2 Mark 7 does that reverse delay thing pretty well.
But Boss has a thing, there's something about him.
Yeah, I get it. Boss does have a thing. I like Boss. I don't know.
The only thing I don't like about the board is, and this is being just nitpicky, and I'm Cameron. I apologize. I don't like the pedal board itself.
Oh, is that the Temple board?
I don't know. It doesn't say. It's that perforated sort of thing. I feel like I like being able to hide the wires, or you have the cables made specifically to do the routing, but then you're fixed to that. So and funny story. We were always bitching and moaning about solderless cables. I soldered some cables the other day making a board for the showroom. It didn't work, and I was so mad.
Happen. It can happen to the best of us.
I felt like an utter failure.
I mean, it is more embarrassing, obviously, that you had soldered cables that didn't go as planned.
I was using the square plugs, and what it was,
the SP400s,
the 500s.
Okay.
So I think it used a little larger diameter cable, but the ground, I was using leaded solder. I didn't use any flux, but I put it on there and soldered it down, and then they were not working, and I took the cap off and just could peel the ground right off. It didn't want to adhere, so I don't know if I need to just scratch it with a screwdriver or something. It was a pain in the ass. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but here's the deal: you diagnosed the problem, and you fixed it, and then now you've got a pretty bulletproof patch cable.
Oh yeah,
which,
the one we used for testing pedals, we're down to the brass of the cable itself, and it's working just fine. So
yeah, solderless cables are inferior. They just are. Just go with soldered cables. Just learn how to solder. Get a cheap soldering iron off of Amazon. It's a worthy pursuit to learn and make your own cables. Make your own patch cables.
Dude, guess how much these high spirit guitars are? Like that one, starting at.
Guess? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me think. So machined bridges and tailpiece in house. Mm-hmm. What were the pickups again? Were they made in house as well?
No, they're wide range of some form or fashion. They are Mojo Tone wide range.
Okay. I'm gonna say starting at $1,499.
$1,800.
Dude,
I think it's very.
That's
fair.
great. That's very fair.
Yeah, that's great.
For a cool guitar made in America, a small builder doing a unique thing. Hell yeah, I'm here for it. All right, now the amp.
The amp is the relatively new, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they're still making this. I know they were. It's the Electro Harmonics reissue of the MiG 50, which is that old Sovtek thing that they were getting made in Russia way back when. I had a MiG 60. It ruled. The MiG 50 is like Josh's favorite amp. So
yep.
I've heard nothing but good things about the EHX version, but let me see if there's something.
I haven't played an EHX version. Rick Beato has a MiG 100H at his studio that we used to use on sessions all the time, and that thing rules. It's so cool. I'd like to check out one of the Electro Harmonics ones. They're pretty affordable, right?
Yeah,
They're like
$638.40. What Electro Harmonics and their prices are so weird. Okay.
I bet it has to do with some conversion. It's probably like ruble or like a euro conversion. Because when you see American prices like that, it's usually an even price in another currency.
Maybe like a VAT thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I really liked the old ones. That was like the thing that in like the early 2000s when all my friends found out about, because we couldn't afford Marshalls,
right?
But these were like so cheap, and then they became like this cult thing. But they had one at Eastside, and I didn't get a chance to play it. But I said, "Does it sound like the old ones?" Because they've had plenty of the old ones. They're like, "Yeah, it basically sounds the same." So
I think JHS did a shootout with one, either at a live stream or a show. They shot out the new ones versus the old ones, and it was, as far as I could tell, sounded the same.
Yeah.
And then the Mojo Tone cabinets, man, Mojo Tone cabs are great. I think people sleep on the Mojo Tone stuff. If you need a cabinet, look at a Mojo Tone cab. They do clones, they do reissues of stuff.
Custom Tolex. Their build quality is insane. Yeah, they make cabinets for a lot of people, or they were, so.
Yeah, I know for a while, and they might still be making all the Magnatone cabinets and stuff. Like
I think they do all the carpentry for them, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
dude,
so.
Don't sleep on the Mojo Tone stuff. They're really, really good. All right. So here's the deal. I really like the guitar selection. I really like the pedal board. I think drop the DD7 and maybe add another fuzz just for fun. I like the amp. I like the cab. I like everything about this rig. I'm going to give this 9.3 shoyles.
Wowzers.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. I can agree with you. There's a bunch of overdrives, because apparently that one of them is a transparent drive thing, and then you have the Westwood, which is like a Timmy clone, and the Governor, and then the Archer. So I would probably replace one with a fuzz, and for me, I would get a wider but not as tall board and kind of spread this out so you have a little more easy access, or get a switcher.
3 rows is tough. 3 rows is tough. A lot of tap dancing. You're probably kicking knobs a lot.
Yeah. But I'm going to give this a solid 8.75.
Yeah, really strong. On the board, I would recommend swapping the board out. I really like the Vertex boards that Mason and the crew are doing now, the tiered boards. Their stuff is really good.
Here come the comments.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is more fodder for the gear page here. So no, but seriously, the boards, they're really well made. They're like a bent metal, and they're made, I think, by a case company in LA or something. At least that's last I heard. Or no, I think it's the same guy that does his enclosures.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Anyways, they're really the tiers are really nice, and so what you could do is, I think a switcher would benefit this board, especially since you've got the DL3 Mark 9 on there. Take advantage of the MIDI capability and the presets and stuff. And it would allow you to, tuck some of the pedals that you're not changing parameters on all that much, tuck them up underneath the tier, get a smaller, more compact board. And then all the stuff that you are kicking a lot, tap tempos and things, your drives you're kicking on or off, whatever, put them on the top tier. And put your power supply under the tier. That's the move, I think.
Yeah, because you could just have the Super Hornet and the switcher.
Yep.
Bang.
Done.
Cool. Neat.
Great. Wonderful. Wunderbar. That's German.
Look at you.
Look at me.
World
jet setter.
Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of world traveler, a friend of ours, has talked about wanting to do a bit of a road trip with the sole purpose of buying something cool. They've saved a lot of money. They they need a vacation.
Okay.
And they want to go. They want to find a store, drive to it, spend an entire day there, leave with a piece of gear that is going to inspire them and be so exciting and enticing to look at on a stand. And my thought was, we have some, there's some very obvious choices. But I was wanting to talk about favorite guitar stores, and get our comment section to chime in on if you could go anywhere in the country. I mean, maybe, hell, anywhere in the world, I guess, if you want. But what are some of the best guitar stores you've been to, and where would you go?
I mean, I have a lot. I've had the privilege of traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of guitar stores all over the country, in Europe. I've been to a lot of really cool places. So, I mean, I can think of like a dozen right off the top of my head that I want to talk about. What about you?
Well, I've dealt with a lot, and I've I mean, all over the country, I have dealers and I've been to some of them, but there are places I would go even if I haven't been there yet, just because of the people that work there and this sort of the relationship you can build with a store, which is it's a little beside the point, but at the same time, that's a huge part of buying something. Like being at a store and dealing with the salesperson or staff that just don't want to work with you. And I'm not talking about giving you a deal or anything, just not wanting to help.
Yeah.
I would never shop there. So, but yeah,
well,
there's definitely some places.
We should start by talking about what makes a great guitar store.
Yeah.
And I think the first and the most important thing are the people. Okay. Every guitar store that I've been to that's left an impression on me, and a lot of these I've been to multiple times, because when you're in the area, you're like, oh, I'm in town, I got to go see so and so over at XYZ Guitars. And it's always because of the people. It's the relationships that you build there, and it's people that are passionate about what they do, and they want to help you find your next piece of gear, your next guitar, amp, pedal, whatever it is. And that's the thing, is it doesn't matter if you're spending $150 on an overdrive or $6,000 on a Murphy Lab Les Paul or a vintage amp or whatever. The people are always at good guitar stores are always excited to help you find that thing. And they're not trying to upsell you. They're not trying to squeeze more money out of you. It's like, okay, this person's looking for this, and I have this thing that's going to make them happy. Here it is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what makes a place be successful or not. It's not all about your YouTube presence or your inventory solely. It's about the relationships you build with the customers, because if you don't have that, it doesn't matter what you got hanging on the wall. There's been a lot of great shops that have closed down because they just weren't ran well.
Yeah.
So,
and I've been to great shops and had bad experiences. There's one, while I won't say where it is or what shop it is, but there's one really well-known shop that I've been to, and just on multiple times I've been there, I've had terrible experiences because of the people there. And I will never shop there, come hell or high water, unless there's, I'm looking for a very specific thing and they happen to have that one thing, I just won't go to that shop.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a shame. And that's happened to us here in town. There's a few small shops kind of near where we're at, and we've gone to, and it's like, damn, they got a lot of cool stuff, but I'll never go back there.
Yeah. All right, so let's start rattling off a few. So I'll start, and we'll just talk about them, talk about the shops, talk about why we like them. We should give some recommendations too. Let's go geographically kind of all over, at least as much as we can, to give recommendations for different listeners that might be near these areas. So first one that springs to mind for me, I was just there a few weeks ago, Carmine Street Guitars in New York City. This is one of the vibiest, coolest guitar shops you can ever set foot in. It's crazy. There's stuff everywhere. It's kind of funny. You're sometimes not sure what's for sale and what's just there, kind of as memorabilia. The building itself is really cool. Their shop in the back where Rick Kelly and Cindy Huledge build their guitars was a speakeasy in the 1920s. It's a vibe there. And again, what makes that shop so cool are Rick and Cindy. They are incredibly nice. They are two of the coolest builders out there. They're building unique, different guitars out of wood that they salvage from old New York City buildings.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. The video was really cool, and I'm curious to see how that guitar comes together. The one the body you got, and I want to make one recommendation, and I think this will be really cool. And this is something that I heard from G.E. Smith. So on your guitar, instead of getting a normal Tele bridge, I want to see if you could bolt that pickup or screw the pickup right to the body.
Oh, okay.
Like an old lap steel, and just use a chopped bridge.
That would be cool.
Because that would be, it'd be really different. And I don't know. G.E. Smith says it does something different to your guitar.
I'd like to try it out.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be too deep,
There's lots of cool shops in New York City, Rudy's. There's a lot of iconic shops in that town. But for me, Carmine Street is now the place that when I'm in town, I'll just go and see Cindy and Rick.
Yeah. There's a shop that we're looking at for this excursion. We're trying to say, Laura, where would I go? What's nearby? And I don't know if because I don't think we've ever spoken about it, but have you ever looked at Will-Cut guitars?
I think I have. Yeah.
Man, so they're in Lexington, Kentucky. Their reviews online are absolutely stellar, and they have incredible stuff, and all their prices are very reasonable. I think because they're avoiding reverb. And what often happens is stores will post things on Reverb with an added premium to offset whatever fees they have to pay. And so I think that in a lot of ways from shops have caused the inflation we've seen with a lot of these guitar prices. But they have an amazing inventory of PRS, Gibson Custom, Fender. They've got all this stuff. Unfortunately, it's closed for in-store shopping right now, just because of regulations in their county. But holy cats, I really want to go there, and it's only like 3 hours from me.
Yeah, you're not far from them at all.
So man, oh man, I want to go.
Man, so sort of in that area, I'm trying to run through my mental Rolodex here. Not in Kentucky, but I believe it's in Virginia. This was a shop I stumbled into a few years ago. We were on tour and we had played in Vienna, Virginia. This was with Noah Guthrie and Good Trouble a few years ago. And I had a guitar that I needed to get set up. And so I just Googled a shop and we were near this place. And so I was like, let me just run in and see what they got. And it was called Action Music. Okay.
Oh, they were the first thing on Google I found.
Dude, this is one of the coolest shops, and it's a special treat when because we've all been to kind of all types of guitar shops. So you wander in, you can tell some of them are just sort of, they might have been cool at one time, but they've been sort of let go, or they're too corporate or whatever. This was just a diamond of a guitar shop. You walk in and they just had all kinds. There's a burst in the case, and they had all kinds of cool old lap steels from the 30s, and the owner of the shop, who unfortunately his name is escaping me right now, was so cool, was so nice. And he took my guitar, he set it up. He set it up for free because the shop was slow at the time and didn't have anything to do. So he just basically the nut needed to be filed down a little bit. And he did the work for free. And it's one of the cooler shops I've ever set foot in.
Man, yeah, they got their website's slow loading for me right now. That might just be this horrible internet we have. But it looks like they got some incredible stuff, and again, good prices, which is so important. I've seen there's been a lot of recommendations for Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar in Seattle. That's where Pusheen, I believe, works now, is making videos. Cool. Mike Adams, and they have an incredible inventory too. But I feel like their prices they're up there, which is hey. It's your shop. You set the price how you want to set it, but
and people are buying. They're paying the prices, so it's like
I know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah. All right, what's go ahead.
I don't know. It's just like I see things that and maybe this is part of me getting old, because I don't remember, how old I am sometimes, because I'm still in that thing. Well, the 90s was only, how many? It was 30 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it looks like an incredible shop, but that might be a little outside the realm of travel for us. But there, one place that I really like is Mass Street Music. And I'm not saying that because it's a dealer. If they didn't carry Mythos pedals, it would not matter at all, because they have Collings, they have Victoria amps, they have incredible vintage finds that they get out of, like, they once had like a deluxe that still had the box, like a 60s deluxe that still had the shipping box, and it was brand new, basically.
That's cool.
All those things, like this real treasures. And then you go there, and it's an old building. Everyone working there is great. The layout of the shop is cool. There's a vibe and there's a comfort, and I think that's a big part of the shopping experience too. And this is going to tie into the place that I think we're ultimately going to go, or he's going to go. And I think that is so important, just feeling comfortable in a place. Even if the staff is great, if you can't sit down and enjoy yourself, you're not going to know if you like this guitar or whatever you're trying.
And again, it just comes down to the people, man. Like, there's nothing worse than being at a shop where people are like too precious about their inventory, or they're vibing you and they're trying to figure out like, how much money is this guy going to spend? Or like, you ask to play something and they're like, I've been told flat out before. I had a friend who was looking for a vintage Marshall, and I walked into this one shop, again, well-known shop, that had several vintage Marshalls, like full stacks. And this person like has the means and was ready to buy. And I was on the phone with them, and I was like, yeah, they've got this, they've got this, they've got this. And I turned to the shop owner and I was like, hey man, I'm on the phone. My guy in Atlanta, he's interested. Is there a way I could just like plug into one of these amps and check it out? I was like, oh, they're not for sale. It's like, none of, he's like, yeah, those aren't for sale. And I said, okay. And I walk into another room where they had amps, same deal, vintage Marshalls, bunch of good shit. And I was like, oh, can I check out this? He's like, it's not for sale. It's like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, I'm not some, so I just walked out. And anyways, that's what makes it cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been in stores where, I don't know if I've told this. I went to a store that was locked. It was like right as they opened. And so I was waiting, and I went to the door at opening, knocked. They were in there and they were still doing stuff. And I'm like, they're still getting set up. They're still starting their day. It's fine. Walked around for another 15 minutes, went back to the door, knocked. Staff members turned and saw me. I waved and was like, can I come in? They turned around and acted like I wasn't even there. And I was there with the sole purpose of trying a custom shop Les Paul that if I had liked it, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it.
Yeah.
And they didn't even let me in the building.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you expect from like, a Guitar Center or whatever. But not from like, if it's a small family-owned mom and pop shop that's dealing in like high-end boutique stuff or vintage stuff, like, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Some more great recommendations. Emerald City Guitars. I actually called them to talk to them about a guitar recently that sold right after I called. It was one of those things where I called and was like, hey, can you talk to me about this? And they're like, yeah, well, we got someone interested in it. And I was like, okay, sure you do. And then they called back and they're like, hey, that's actually on hold for someone else. So if we get another one, we'll call you. And then I looked on the website and it was gone. So, you always get that and you're like, oh, that's some sales tactic bullshit.
Yeah.
But those guys are great. I would love to go there. Thunder Road Guitars has some incredible stuff up in Seattle, or they're in Portland. Would love to go up there, but I think this all boils down to one place. And no, it's not Carter Vinge Guitars.
Drink.
Chicago Music Exchange.
CME, a fascinating place.
I love that store so much. And again, not because they sell Mythos pedals, for totally other reasons.
I've been there one time, and it was...
You'd only been there that one time?
The one time. And I happened to be making a video. We were there, again, on tour, playing gigs, and I had a day off in Chicago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down to CME, and I brought my camera. This is if you haven't seen the video on my channel, it's the I found my holy grail guitar and I can't afford it video. They had I think it was a 61 natural 335 with the inlays from is the split parallelograms from a 345.
Yeah.
They were asking big money for that guitar, but my God, it was a ringer.
Do you remember how much it was then? Because
$75,000.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, they were asking 75 G's for it back in 2019.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow, we sold a 64 335 that was like, I mean, I think it was close to Clapton's serial number for like 15 grand.
Yeah. And again, prices have gone up, but this one was like, it's because it was rare. It was basically a one-off with the inlays. It was a collector's guitar, but it happened to be just a great player. And shout out to David A over there who came down, and he was a fan of my channel. So he took me upstairs to the vault, and I got to play some really cool shit that I wasn't allowed to film, but it was, some iconic stuff was up there in their vault that I got to put my hands on. Just an amazing, it's cool to go there and just see the space that they've built.
Absolutely. I think if anyone out there, if you're looking at starting a guitar store, there is your benchmark. And I'm not saying that from a business standpoint. I'm not saying that from a, like, here's the inventory you have to have, here's this or that. If
you can't.
The vibe and the experience of just walking into that place, it feels so special. Even if it was empty, if there was no guitars on the wall and it was just the furniture, you'd be like, man, this place is cool.
Yes.
Weddings here? What do you do here? You know?
Yes. Okay, so this brings up an interesting point about guitar stores, because this is one of the few things with online retail and everything becoming so big and brick and mortar stores closing, guitar stores, and not just like chain stores, but I'm talking about bespoke local guitar shops, okay? Yeah. You have to curate this sort of experience for the person there, because we've all been in that position, right? Of like, okay, I've got the money, I've saved up, I found the thing, I'm going in to buy my guitar, and you walk into a shop and it's a cool vibe and the people are nice. It just adds to that experience that much more.
Yeah.
Or you just walk into a shop and you're like, whoa, this is cool. Like Carmine Street. You walk into Carmine Street and you're like, holy shit, I've stepped back into like 1968 or something.
Right.
And it just puts you in a mood and it just enriches the experience. And, we're talking about dropping serious money on instruments and things that for many of us are our hobby or our passion or whatever. But like take a leaf out of some of these shops that we're talking about out of their book, because they all do a really good job of curating that sort of vibe for the customer.
And it has it'll give you a deeper connection to your instrument in a weird way. I mean, I think so. And like there are things that I have that, I mean, I don't have many guitars. Like compared to a lot of people, I have enough. But there are things that, apart from the instrument, there's a story there, and that's special to me. And it's something that I want to pass on to my son, and I want him to know that experience. And it's like the places like that. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Wildwood Guitars, which are not open for the public right now. Their new space, which I don't think has even seen like any public traffic yet, is so incredible. And I cannot wait for them to reopen and let people go there. It is such a cool shop, and probably going to be one of the most curated high-end guitar store experiences you could have in the States.
That's cool.
Because how it's laid out is really neat, and it's very you're going to feel like you're in, like every place has its own world. It's like there's Fender World. It's like a theme park. It's like there's different lands you go to, and but yeah, like CME, it's weird. Every time I think of going to a guitar store, it's like it's the light in the heavens that's guiding me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. I'm trying to think, like there's a handful of other shops that I want to be sure to shout out, because they all do a good job of the things we've talked about. So in Atlanta, I have like my 3 local shops that I frequent. Righteous Guitars that you see on my channel all the time. So the thing that Righteous does really, really well is the customer service. Like Ben and Jeff and all those guys that work there are so incredibly good at customer service. If you're looking for something, and they deal mostly in like new high-end boutique stuff and PRS stuff. So if you're looking for that, that's what they do. But yeah, they take their time. It doesn't matter if you just started playing guitar. They have customers that started playing guitar, and their first guitar, they walk into Righteous and drop $8,000 on a private stock PRS.
Woo! Yeah.
And then they have customers that like go and spend $400 or $500 on like a Gretsch Streamliner or something.
Right.
But the thing is, they treat the person spending $500 and the person spending $10,000 the same, and they treat the $500 guitar and the $10,000 guitar the same there. So I really enjoy those guys. The second shop is Atlanta Discount Music, and this is like the vibey shop's been there since the 70s. Some pretty heavy hitter players that have come out of Atlanta have all worked at that shop at some point in time. And Jimmy and those guys are really informative. I've got a video coming out soon about my first amp and how Jimmy at Atlanta Discount Music essentially taught me about tube amps when I didn't know anything about them. And it's a cool shop because they do a lot of consignment stuff there. So you never know what you're going to see when you walk in there. I've walked in several times and been like, okay, there's not really anything cool. And then you walk in 2 weeks later and it's like, holy shit, this is a mecca of vintage, like blackface Fenders. There's 4 blackface Supers in right now.
Yeah, someone just shows up with a truck full of it.
Yeah, like it's a really cool shop. And then the third one is Maple Street Guitars, where I bought my 65 SG and my 64 AC30.
Yeah.
Another family-owned shop in Buckhead. Really great people, really good service. And if you're looking for super high-end, really great acoustic stuff, that's one of the shops to check out. And apparently really great vintage stuff. Even though they're not really a vintage guitar dealer, the 2 main pieces of vintage gear I own have both come from that shop. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I get messages all the time about Nashville. And of course, there's so many shops. There's, Carter's, Groon's, Eastside, Fanny's is so rad. Rumble Seed, all the places. But, I feel like the places to go are, of course, Carter's and Eastside. For 2 reasons. I think Carter's, which we haven't mentioned this at all. Carter's just got acquired. So Carter's has like a little bit of new ownership from the North American Guitar Company. So
I've never heard of that company before.
Yeah, they have like their own store, and they deal in mostly like really high end acoustic stuff and very boutiquey things. But they, Walter and Christy have been in the game for a long time, and I'm sure that they worked out a great deal, and they've been improving the website, which is funny because I made that website with John Roncolato 2016. And it's not changed.
Okay.
So yeah, they're really trying to push their web presence as far as being able to buy stuff on the internet. But then there's also Eastside, and if you need a pedal, or if you want a pedal, you go to Eastside. You talk to Brandon Blair, any of those dudes. They're gonna let you play it. You can be as loud as you want.
Yep. And
they're gonna show you how everything works because they know how everything works.
And they've got pedal brands that you can't really find. You'll walk in there and see stuff on their shelf that you're like, wait, what? What is this? It's cool.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know if I've ever been in a more chill business.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So I love those guys. They're all like really dear to me because it's just such a fun place. And like every time I often go there, like when I'm running around town. Just because they get so much weird stuff that you never know what you're going to find, and they have so much fun stuff that Blair will like keep like, hey, look at this, and like take me down in the basement in the repair shop, and like we get to like rummage. It's like kind of going to like your grandfather's basement. You're like, hey, what does this do? Like, oh, that's a stick grenade from World War II. Put that back.
Yeah, that's a Claymore. I'm pretty sure it's disarmed, but. Man, that's so cool. See, okay, let's go international for a second here.
Okay.
The first one I want to shout out is Fellowship of Acoustics in the Netherlands. This is like CME, one of the most incredible just places I've been for guitar. So the building, I made a video about this back in 2019 as well. The building is an old mansion, I believe. I mean, it's like a double. It looks like something you'd see in the antebellum South. It's weird to kind of actually see it in the Netherlands, but it's this mansion. And Paul Davids has actually done a bunch of videos there as well, if you want to see it. But you go and upstairs in these beautiful, great rooms with tall ceilings and old hardwood floors and everything. And the walls are covered, just floor to ceiling, in beautiful acoustic guitars. I mean, vintage stuff, new stuff from the 20s and the 30s, like just all kinds of acoustics. And every room is kind of a different theme. There's a room for resonators. There's a room for like dreads and OMs and stuff. And then downstairs is all their electric stuff. And they've got killer amp selection. There's like a 59 Cadillac like in the middle of the floor there in the room. And
what?
Yeah, it's cool.
Are they selling you pieces? I need some bumper parts.
Yeah, you might want to hit them up. Hey man, I'm looking for this taillight bezel, passenger side. Could y'all? But you see, yeah, Fellowship of Acoustics, and again, the people there are super nice. They've got a vault, like CME. They've got a vault that is usually cool, full of some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course there's Denmark Street.
Denmark Street, which is changing, sadly. Yeah. Macari's is one that unfortunately is not there anymore, that I was fortunate enough to be able to go to and talk to Anthony Macari and buy a pedal. And this goes back to what we were talking about. Being able to go to the place and talk to the people and buy a thing from that place. I'm so attached to my Mark I tone bender.
Right.
Because I bought it from Anthony Macari. And there's a whole story behind it. And this, I now knowing that shop is closed and has turned into probably some, a fucking Chipotle or something. It's like,
dear God.
It's like, okay, I bought this pedal from the place.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore. Like, you can't go there anymore and buy this thing. No, they're still around. Thankfully, Macari's is still around. They're just not in London anymore. But
yeah, they're still making pedals, right?
Yeah, Sola Sound. Yeah. Right. Check them out, dude. They do some cool fuzzes.
Yeah, that was the only place we got to go to on Denmark Street when I went to London. I of course went to Anderton's, which was really cool and a great shop. But made it to Macari's, and I just imagine that throughout time it was laid out. It's so cramped and tight, but I imagine it was laid out exactly the same, just with older guitars.
Yeah, that's the vibe you get on Denmark Street. It's like you walk through all these shops, and there's modern gear and stuff on the walls, but the shop itself, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, this is where all the guys, like, this is where they did all their shopping back in the 60s. Like, this was it. Yeah, what these walls have seen,
Man, yeah, and it's crazy. And like, there's one place that I was so sad that I didn't get to go to. Now the name escapes me. It's the place in New York. It's across from the original Sam Ash. Was it Rudy's? No,
Rudy's.
They're still there. Are they still there?
Yeah, Rudy's is still there.
What was the guitar player where like Hendrix and Clapton and David Gilmour?
The sign for it is in Manny's.
Manny's.
Yeah.
My only time ever being in New York City, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to see the Ghostbuster Fire Hall, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
And I wanted to go to Manny's. And guess what? Two things I did not get to do.
Go to the Ghostbuster Fire Hall and go to Manny's.
Yeah.
You've only been to New York once?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Dude, you and Morgan should go for a weekend.
I know. What are we going to do with a kid? Bring him? And we're like, oh, there's so many people.
Yeah, he might be a little young for New York.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. Great weekend trip. But
yeah, I want to go back, but yeah, like it's just that it was a shame. That was one places I wanted to go.
Dude, Tilly and I should take you and Morgan to New York for a weekend, and we'll have a jolly minute. Yeah,
Sweet.
A weekend. That's all you need for because you can get up there whenever you want. 2 days in New York is great. Get in, get out. It's awesome. All right, let's see. I had another. It was Macari's that I want to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Any other international? Oh
wait, I went to Long Island once. Does that count?
No.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I did not. I'm too. There's the traffic, and the way the roads are laid out, and just like I don't know, I'm just a grump, and like when you were talking about Fellowship of Acoustics, have you seen those Progressive commercials where it's talking about you turning into your parents?
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely like if I walked into a place like that, I'd be like, man, I wonder how much their insurance premium is.
Oh my God. I've never thought that ever about a single place I've ever walked into.
Such an old man. Like, I'm like
you
everything.
are. Jesus Christ.
My mom said I was born an adult, because even when I was like 5, when we go on road trips, they'd say, okay, is everybody buckled up? Do we have enough gas? Do you have a map? Do you know where we're going? Are there snacks? Like I was like, and dude, if they weren't buckled up, I was like tapping my mom and dad like, yo, lap belts.
This kid needs to get his shit together. I think there is something to that whole like old soul thing. Like you've probably lived a lot more lifetimes than I have.
Maybe.
And that's probably it. Man, yeah, so there's so many other guitar shops to talk about. I mean, there's Norms, obviously. There's really cool places to go and see. But yeah.
I think in the comments, everyone just drop the places that you would want to go or you recommend. And by the way, let's just say all these shops, if you've ever been there and you've not gone to their Google page and left them a review, that is so crucial to helping their business. It's like to do all the places, Google, Facebook, any Yelp. One good review for a store can make such a world of difference, because Steve at Wildwood told me one thing that I'll never forget when it was regarding working at Carter and talking to Walter and Christy. It said everybody who shops locally shops online first, and if someone sees that review, that could make a store's month. It happened to us.
It's not a guitar story, but we bought our RV from a dealership that turned out to be, buying an RV is like buying a car, and we all know what car dealerships are like. And this dealership we found was the exact opposite of that. It was like the greatest experience ever, and we found them because of good reviews.
Yeah, and it's so important, and it seems like such a trivial thing, but man, and two, if you support a brand or a business or an establishment, them seeing that is such a mood booster. It's like every time I get an email and say, hey, this pedal rules and it's making me go different places and it's giving me new sounds. It's like anytime I get down on myself or think, God, is this really what I want to do? Those things lift my spirits. And I'm sure it's the same for you, getting emails and messages and comments and stuff.
It is. It really is. And you should know, like on our end, we do see all the emails, we do see all the comments. And even though we can't respond to all of them, it does help sending positive messages and messages of encouragement, or how our work has impacted you in a positive way. It genuinely does make it feel worth it, because it's hard sometimes. We've talked about it before, but when you're in our line of work, or my line of work, it's really hard to just not get lost in the fact I'm sitting in a bedroom and I'm just looking at a camera and looking at numbers all day, basically. It's easy to forget that there's real people behind that stuff. So
sure. Well, I think we're going to strike up some good conversations in the comment section.
Yeah, let's get ready for our shill of the week here. I need to grab mine.
Hold
on. All right, let me grab mine real quick.
I know what I'm going to get.
All right, and we're back. Okay, so shill of the week. By the way, if you're new here, this is something that we do. We haven't talked about this in a while. So at the end of every episode, the shill of the week is a thing, a piece of gear, a tool. Maybe it's not even music related, but it's something that we really love, that we feel like we want to talk about on the podcast. Sometimes it's things that we bought. Sometimes it's things that were given to us. It doesn't matter if we bought it with our own hard-earned money, if it was given to us. It's a shill because we're shilling it, and we're all shills here. So there you go.
Take that, gear page.
Take that, gear page.
Gear page.
Gear pudge.
Damn, this one's gonna get a lot of views in a really bad way.
All right, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I grabbed something off the shelf, and then I realized that's kind of stupid. But this We all know this, right?
Oh God, yeah.
I think this is one of the most important microphones you could ever own. This is an SM57, but I did something to this that I don't know if you've ever done.
Transformer mod?
Transformer mod.
Yeah.
Basically, if you have more than one 57, you want to mix it up and make it kind of sound a little bit more like this big guy.
Yep.
The SM7B. You can unscrew. I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid the wires will break. You can unscrew this handle here.
Yep.
Clip the wires. It requires a little soldering, a little patience, and you can. How I did it, I went and bought a pan at Goodwill that was like, I don't know, a quarter. Poured a lot of boiling water in that. You put this in there, all the glue melts. You pull out the transformer. You rewire the mic to the XLR jack, and then you have a really cool mod for an SM57 that makes it sound a little sweeter.
Yeah, it's a cool mod to do. It's pretty easy, or you can buy them modded. You know, they're still cheap. Like they're not, you're not going to go spend $500 on a 57.
No,
and they're still bulletproof. Arguably more bulletproof because you've made it simpler as long as you did the mod correctly. Yeah,
the only thing, I think the transformer might protect it from phantom power if you accidentally run phantom power to it, and if you ran it to this, it would probably blow up the capsule.
So don't treat it like treat it like a ribbon, basically.
Yeah, but it is it's a really good mod. It's really great for guitar amps. I've found.
And snare drums.
Yes. Anything loud, because it'll drop the output considerably, but it really does make a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. Look at you doing some recording type stuff.
Yeah, that was
Nice. All right, so mine is this revolutionary new pedal from JHS this week, the Voice Tech. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, the number of people that thought this, my grandfather thought this was real. Okay,
I thought you were gonna have a got him or something at the.
Dude, no, I didn't think we needed it. I thought by halfway through the video, I figured most people would have gotten it. I think most people did.
Yeah.
But judging on my comment section, I sent you a few. Of the comments.
It was gold.
It was gold. I posted a few on my Instagram that were really funny, but I held a few back that were like. There was one person in particular that was like genuinely angry, and they let me know in a very long comment that they would never watch my channel again, and they would never buy a JHS pedal again because we duped them in this video.
I'm so me that if I had the ability to do this, I would specifically target ads to that person, and I would do it for like a year straight and spend as much money as possible to bother them.
Oh my God. I'm just not that petty. I think I was like, I thought it was funny.
Yeah. It was a great video. It was so well done. I watched it while I was washing dishes. That's where I watch most of YouTube.
If anyone here is still confused, the Voice Tech is not real. That's an April Fool's joke. What it really is a rebranded. This is actually, I think, now the rarest JHS pedal in existence. There's only 5 of them, and this is the Hero pedal with the Neve knobs. They could only find these knobs for one pedal, so I have the rarest JHS pedal ever made. It's just a Clover. Yeah. And it's a fully functional Clover, actually. So,
it's great.
That's not my Shill of the week. This is my Shill of the week.
Oh, that's a
Stromer Super Fuzz. This is a Super Fuzz clone built by a person in New York City. I bought this. Wait, did I Shill this last week? I can't remember.
No.
Okay. These are sick. It's a really cool Super Fuzz clone. And when you say hand built, this thing is like he's bending the enclosures by hand on his like kitchen table, I think.
Well, he's got like a metal brake.
I guess, or maybe he's just bending it over the edge of his table. I don't know. Like
no way.
It's funny because they're sharp. Like
yeah. You gotta take a file to that stuff.
Yeah, you really should file that down. But it sounds really good. I dig it. And they're pretty affordable. Now he did sell out of his stock from the live stream a couple weeks ago, but he should be getting more pretty soon. So
yeah, I watched you on a live stream and you were playing and it sounded really good.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I think I really appreciate that aesthetic. The fact that it legit looks old.
It looks old. Yeah, it looks old.
It looks like something you found at a shop that they just never sold, which is neat.
Yeah, it's rad. So if you're into fuzz just like me, you want something unique, it's a super fuzz, so it's not a completely original circuit, but this one does, it's a little different than like an OG super fuzz. It's not quite the same. It's cool. I'm into it.
Someone says they think it's the same shill, double shill. Is it?
Did I double shill?
I don't, man. The fact that we did the last podcast on a Monday and then we had like the whole week, it completely,
Hold on. Someone tell me
like
if
a month.
Is this a double shill? Because if this is, then we're going to have to edit that out and I'm going to have to do a second one here.
No, you just do your voice tech. Man, it's fine. You know, this is fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun.
And that's it. That's all it's about.
Okay. Well, there we go. If it's a double shill, I'm sorry.
You know what? Did you end up buying that box of war, or not, the Death by Audio pedal, the spray painted one? You know what's funny is you said, oh, it's a spray painted one. When I went to Guitar Center, there was one there.
Oh, did you buy it?
No.
Oh, how much was it?
I don't know. Normal price.
What is normal price?
It was new.
Yeah. So was this one. It was like $165.
Someone says you didn't do that fuzz last week.
Oh my God,
John
I'm so
Wilson
confused.
said that. So we'll see. The comment section will tell us.
I'm going to lose sleep over this.
I hope so.
All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow us and subscribe to our Patreon down below. We have a website now.
Wait, it's coming. Right? I'm working. Oh, it's not up.
Okay. All right.
But I'm working on it. And there's going to be a link in the description. You can go to our podcast host and leave us a voicemail.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Which we can put on the show. We can play it and keep the profanity to a minimum.
We're not going to say no profanity because we cuss on the show, but
just don't. To Matthew Timmons on Novo show, like just not that much.
Yeah, let's keep it PG-13. You get one fuck per voicemail, and we'll leave it at that. Okay.
Okay.
I should have plugged that at the beginning of the episode. I forgot. So we'll put it in a pinned comment. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll watch the chaos unfold.
I hope so.
All right, everyone. We will see y'all next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.